Looking back over chapter 4, there are a few key points that I got from the chapter and the readings. To start, we're starting to see that blending of mindful leadership and leadership excellence, and how those four characteristics of leadership excellence really tie into mindful leadership. I thought it was interesting that the book pointed out the idea of where's our attention and being present. And I think as we go through this class, you'll become more aware that how often you are in a situation but you're not truly present. You're not paying attention fully. You're not engaged in what is going on. And as you look around you and you talk to your students, your colleagues, you'll see it's common among everybody, this idea that we have 20,000 other things going on and we can't just kind of focus in the moment. And hopefully by the end of this class, we'll be able to do that. One of the keys to mindfulness is meditation, and it serves as that foundation for mindfulness and eventually leading to mindful leadership. And that's why we've spent so much time doing that. Again, I don't see any harm in meditating. It takes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day. It kind of relaxes you and refocuses you on what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish, clears your mind out. Also, the idea of redirection was talked about, an idea that being able to redirect our focus. And it is a great example to do to anyone. Just have them close their eyes and sit there. And let them sit there for 20, 30 seconds. Then just ask them what were they thinking about. And it's amazing how many different thoughts, ideas pop in your mind, different things you have to work on later in the day, whatever it may be. And the idea that we don't just have that freedom, that space to really think and be in the moment. Another thing I thought was really interesting was expectations, and they touch a little bit more on that in the next chapter and throughout the book. But the idea that we have these expectations of what a situation should be, and because of that, it almost blinds us to what is really going on, and that when we walk in with these expectations, more than likely that's what's going to happen. I always think back to the example, that they always used to say, if you think something bad's going to happen, it probably is. If you think something good is going to happen, it probably is. Or they would always talk about people who thought they were lucky tended to be more lucky. People that thought they were unlucky tended to be more unlucky. And a lot of it is because you have those expectations of either being lucky or unlucky. And when we go into a situation, it's nice just to remove all those expectations, going with a clear mind, going with that clarity. And I think the book does a really good job of bringing us back to what we're trying to be getting out of all this mindfulness and developing ourselves as mindful leaders. And the idea is to be able to pay attention and learn more about what it means to be present. And hopefully we're doing that. Hopefully you have some moments where you might be talking to your spouse, your kids, your students, your colleagues, and you just think, I'm not present. I'm thinking about 20,000 other things. And I found myself, the more time I spend in this class, it makes me reevaluate things as well. And I find that a lot more with my kids, where you're there but you're not present. You're thinking about 5 or 6 other things, or whatever else is going on, what you're going to have for dinner that night, what you need to work on, whatever it may be, and you're not truly present. So I think being aware of that's important, and then, again, redirecting so that we can clear our mind and be completely present. And the whole idea with all of this is, and I think an issue a lot of people have is, you say, okay, well, you need to spend 10 minutes a day meditating, and do that twice a day. People think that's 20 minutes of my day gone. But what the research has shown, and what the book talks about, and a lot of these other articles talk about that we've seen, is you'll end up getting more than that time back, because you'll be able to focus, you'll be able to be in the present, you'll have that clarity, and you can attack what's in front of you and complete that task and not be distracted by everything else going on in your mind. So again, it's a work in progress. Obviously, a lot of these people that have done it for years, and they're still improving. So for us, we're slowly getting better. We're becoming more aware that that we're not always in the present. We're working on techniques to make us become better at being in that moment, and that's all we can do. But again, I thought it was a good chapter, and it continues to build. I definitely think the chapter is becoming more self-assessment. That's why we're having these outside articles that kind of give us an example of what this looks like in the real world. And with the article talking about in the business world, it shows you that there is a practical purpose to this, and what we are learning is applicable to what goes on in the business world or in education.